Hey everybody, Jason Burmis here for Mixed Martial Mindset, live, sorta, kinda on Periscope with, of course, John Fitch, MMA legend. I'm kind of pissed here, John. The technology, it's not working. The YouTube, it's giving me the glitches. I had to restart the whole computer, reinstall Windows. Take 3 hours out of my day, man. Bullshit.
Yep. It's travesty. The fact that we can't seamlessly communicate across the country, the touch of a button. God damn it.
Listen, the fact that I can't multi-stream right now in 1080p at the cost of nobody's dime but my own and say whatever I want is a travesty. And that's the double-edged sword of technology, I guess. We will be posting this on YouTube after the fact. And like I said, if you're watching us on Periscope, you are seeing us live. Before we get to everything, I want to tell people that they can check out everything John Fitch over at johnfitch.net. You can follow him at the same name.
Newsletter set up. We just got that set up this weekend.
Is that a new spot up here on the top yet? You got to get one of the little...
That's no, right in the middle. You can see the sign up right there.
Oh, well, there we are, right there.
There you go.
And then we also have the official John Fitch YouTube page. Go there, hit subscribe right now. Now's the time. Go subscribe. I don't know what you're waiting for. And if you want to listen to this in audio format, thegruelingtruth.com. It's got a lot of great sports podcasts. It also has your John Fitch Knows Nothing.
Yeah.
Tell people about that.
Yeah, I just been started. I was doing a shake break for a while, and then I just turned it into a podcast. Started doing audio stuff on Podbean. I should be getting approved here on iTunes soon. And I've been doing guests, and I've had some in studio guests. I've had some remote guests. Hopefully, there'll be more to come. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, and I really loved your guest this weekend. What was his name? Bobby Dino?
Bobby Dino, yeah. He's a really interesting story. He spent 10 years in the clink back, early in his life, and he's got some crazy stories from that perspective.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people that don't grow up around that culture at all and don't understand what they're getting into when they mess their life up, maybe with a DWI where they kill somebody in a car crash, or they get involved with the wrong crowd, dealing the wrong type of drug.
What happened with him? He got into an altercation, so like a fight, skirmish, whatever. A bystander got hurt, so he went away because of that.
Yeah, and he went away for a long time because he followed it up.
He got more time because he got caught with paraphernalia, basically.
Yeah, after the fact. Yeah, and he thought people were going to tell the truth. And you got to understand, folks, law enforcement, they're in the business of protecting their own ass. Yeah. Yes.
Well, there was prison guards and the whatever, so these guys they're a part of the business. Like the prison system is a business. They're trying to make money, and they make money by keeping people locked up. So if they have an opportunity to give you more time, like they're all over it. That's more money. That's more job security. That's high fives all around. Smoke cigars later.
Lovely. Yeah. Now, I want to get into recapping all the fights. I only watched the main event in the bare knuckle. I know you saw a couple of those fights. Bellator had a big card in Israel. The UFC's card is the last one for a few weeks. But before we even focus in on Bellator, the big news to me was that they are doing a Ryzen versus card mid-December. Okay, and Lorenz Larkin is going to be
too.
Yep, he's going to be on that card. Now, if that's the case, now this is the one I believe. Let's see, on the 31st they've got Fedor versus Rampage. That's the big draw. That's DAZN. So I would assume in order to try to draw that in, the 29th card is probably going to be on Paramount Network. I would imagine, right?
Probably.
Yeah, that's got to be the play.
If they're not already billing it, then probably.
Yeah, and it doesn't look like Lima's going to fight on this card. He's already said he would fight you. John, where's Coker on this? What's the Scott? Come on, man.
Yeah, guys, start hitting him up. Hit him up, bother him. That's what you want to see. I still hold a belt. Like I never lost my World Series belt. So this is title versus title cross promotion championship, me versus Lima.
John, when's the last time you did lose a fight?
2000. Last fight I lost was Pilares, 2014.
2014. So 5 years you've been unbeaten. You've been proven to take on top 10, sometimes top 5, sometimes champion level competition, aka Rory McDonald, and beat them. We could call that a majority draw all you want. Anybody who watched the fight, shout out to Prime Fedor at Last Emperor KGB. He gave a good tweet about that. Listen, you beat him. Everyone who watched the fight knows you beat him. They don't show any highlights of that except for the one shot he gives you with the elbow that you eat, and then kind of like that.
It hit me in the shoulder, grazed and hit me in the shoulder, and I wobbled because I was going for the takedown, and he kicked away and kneed me in the back of the head. Incidental contact, it happens, but he didn't do something purposeful to hurt me. It was purely incidental.
And not only that, but let's again illustrate the fact all three judges had the third round as a 10-8, as you basically, I think, about 4 minutes and 40 seconds of that round had him on the ground and were in dominant position and were scoring strikes, period. I mean, that's the reality of that third round. I was kind of surprised. I thought you did earn a 10-8 round in the third, but to see it on every judge's scorecard kind of shows the hypocrisy of the end result.
Well, and then they use that fight now as a lesson to the judges of what a 10-8 round looks like. So that round is now the standard, right, for judges to judge whether or not it's a 10-8 round. Did that look like John Fitch's round versus Roy McDonald? I'm the standard in that case.
Again, it was a pretty damn dominant round. I thought you won the fight. I couldn't believe it when they said what was on the judges' scorecards. Every time I hear that split decision kind of thing, it kills me. But what are you going to do, right? I mean, you can't look back on it now.
My argument is that it's purposeful to leave the scoring criteria so vague. I haven't seen a elaborate, detailed version of what the rules are supposed to look like. Like, as far as I know, the fight scored on striking, pulling, aggression, and relationship. But like, I don't know if there's any descriptions of those four anywhere. It makes it easily arbitrary. The decisions, which makes them toss-ups more often. That confusion, whatever, gives more power to the promoter. It's to manipulate things. Not saying that Bellator is that, but I think the UFC has created the environment where that's possible.
I'm sorry, John. A lot of that was garbled. I mean, damn, man. I cannot catch a break on this podcast today. Are you kidding me? You're frozen again, brother. Let me send. Actually, I don't know if I want to click the other link. I'm going to send you another link. We're just going to keep it live, all right? I'm sorry, dude. I'm sorry, but you're dead frozen on this thing. Man. All right, so let's hit that. Guys, I apologize. This is not our usual shebango. I mean, I guess you get to see how we do it, but all these tech difficulties. This has been my roughest broadcast. We lost about 3/4 of that last thing. We lost you right after you started talking about a 10-8 round and the fact that they use that as the standard at this point. And it was dominant cage control. And honestly, hopefully when we get John back on here in a second, we'll talk about, because to me, I hear a lot more about like John McCarthy talking about how if you're not doing anything when you have that takedown, and it's not just about cage control, and I do think it's coupled with that. But again, Fitch deserves the shot. I hate to keep stalling this out, as technical difficulties are absolutely the worst for me. But yeah. We'll wait for Fitch, and we'll start talking about the let's see this card here. So let's see if we can get this. Oh, man. Here we go. Get that out of there. Linton Vassell versus Sergey Karatanov. There he is right there. All right. All right,
yeah,
John.
I don't know what's going on.
All right.
I don't know if my stream is lagging a little bit here because I had trouble reloading the screen for a second.
Yeah, you went full like garbled and then gone and then frozen.
No. Well, I was saying that there's no like clear-cut criteria for scoring. Like for my understanding, it's striking, grappling, ring generalship, and aggression. And those are the 4 scoring criteria. But like, there's no like elaboration on what it means to have those things or what you're looking for in those things. So like, unless I'm misinformed and I don't know, and it's been redone, and there's criteria that's more visible and more understandable, then I think that's one of the problems. And I think it's kind of purposeful. I think the UFC keeps it kind of vague because there's more mistakes can happen, and it works out in their favor more chances than not when there's a mistake.
Well, again, bottom line, Fitch, I think you deserve the shot. Why don't they make that a January or February card, right? We don't have anything beyond that right now. I mean, let's be honest. The other guy they gave a shot to is fighting Cans next week. He's fighting he doesn't even have a picture, okay? This is a guy they were trying to put him in as a top 5, top 2 guy, in this tournament. He's fighting 2 guys in a row that don't even have a picture.
Don't even have a picture.
Don't even have a picture. And it's kind of disgusting to me. I did like the Israeli card. Karatanov did not have an answer for Vassell going up in weight for the first time from 205. Again, it looked like Vassell was on the super juice. Not saying anything. Not saying there's any weird regulations there, but he didn't have an answer for his takedown. Got on top of him. Basically just kept him with strikes from behind. No answer there. We saw a Gracie debut, I think, in Bellator. I don't think I've seen Hobson before.
Yeah.
But he did win quickly.
First, yeah.
Vanderford, Paige Van Zandt's husband. He won again. He gets it done. He's a grinder. He actually kind of reminds me of you a little bit in the sense that maybe he's not finishing everybody, but he certainly is controlling the fight, and he's looking pretty decent. Then again, who have they put him in against? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We had the father-son thing. You gotta build
your stars. I understand that, but yeah.
You know what? With where he was on the card, I'm fine with that. You know what I mean? If you're going to put him as the first guy on a non-televised DAZN card that has 5 fights on it, a pretty big main event, but other than that, like I said, it was the Ghazali family card.
Yeah, I mean, how are you gonna promote him? Because like he's known to being Paige Van Zandt's husband. Like now in the main event, Paige Van Zandt's husband. Like it's a nickname. Like
I've seen him fight.
Let him win some fights. Let him make his own name.
I agree. It's tough when you have I guess that person who's a superstar next to you. I guess you know what I mean. Mm-hmm. Very, very odd.
Yeah.
All right, so that being said, this is really the only next big card, and of course, Fitch fucking froze up again. God damn it! Can you hear me, John?
I can hear you. All right,
yeah. You're not on your Wi-Fi, right? You are hooked right in.
No, I'm hooked in. I checked it. I'm still on my ether, but it was messing with me earlier.
I get it, man. As long as we can hear you, I guess that's good. So. Other than that, the UFC is coming up with a card in December with Overeem, but the undercard of the Sao Paulo thing was pretty decent. I was upset that the Nogueira fight didn't happen, but let's go through some of these. Lipsky looked good to me. Renan Barão, man, he's younger. He's younger than Francis Ngannou, but boy, man, he just got beat up in this fight.
He's lost a number in a row. Correct?
A ton in a row. And, he looked like a killer back in the day. And they put him in. I mean, Silva de Andre, he looks like he's on the super juice too. And he took it to him pretty hard. And I think it was a decision. So Randy Brown, he looked rough in spots, but pulled out a victory. That was actually a really entertaining fight. This was actually an overall good card. I like it when the fights turn out nice. Trinaldo versus Green, another pretty tough fought, fun to watch fight. Submission victory for Ramos. Ramos looked really good in that fight, controlled the whole thing. And then Moraes, in kind of a back-and-forth battle where he, again, looked like he gassed out, ended up getting KO'd in vicious fashion by James Krause. That's just the prelims. Mm-hmm. So, again, UFC put a pretty good one together here for me. I know you watched some of these. Hua Craig, I thought it could have gone to Craig, but I wasn't mad that it went to or it was a draw, right?
It was a draw, yeah.
That's right.
I could have easily seen it being for Hua.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it was tough because what was it? It was
again, that's the problem without like well-defined criteria for scoring. Like you should be able to take somebody off the street and have them watch a fight, and they should be able to score the fight correctly every single time.
I would say this. What do you think about open scoring?
Because like I taught, I went through PE education. I got my degree, right? So like we have to teach people how to play sports. Mm-hmm. So like football has clearly defined rules. I can teach a kid or a teenager who's never watched the sport before. I can teach them in a week, and they'll know if they watch a football game, they'll know everything that's happening. They'll be able to tell you, oh, that was offsides. Oh, that was whatever. This is a touchdown. Like there's clear-cut criteria. You explain it to them. We have a test on it, and they know. But like you can't do that for MMA.
Well, I would say, what do you think about open scoring to give the guys at least in the cage some insight, round by round where they actually stand?
I think you should. I think that they should announce the scores per round. I think that would put it up on the top thing on the jumbotron. Everybody should know. Like, why not?
I actually like that idea. I've heard the argument, for instance, that it's the suspense at the end, but I think that if more guys know that this is it, if they don't get it in the final round, the third or the fifth round, and go after it, it's going to change the fight somewhat. You know what I mean?
I think it also adds a layer of betting and gambling to the event, because if the guy won the first two rounds and they got one more round left, well, then the stakes go up. You could bet on whether or not the guy wins the last round or if he's going to be able to finish the fight and win. Like,
that'd be interesting. Yeah, I mean, you have to get your bets in quick, I guess, and you maybe even have to be on the premises. Well, let's talk about some of the other fights.
Technology, hopefully, in the next 5-10 years, that press button, you should be able to. Come on, Bitcoin.
You're not wrong, but it's not proven itself good today, John. My God, fucking 56K DSL looking like not even DSL. Blachowicz versus Souza. He won that pretty handily. Didn't really have to put together more than 1-2s, maybe 1-2-3s to keep Souza at bay. He was able to stop his takedowns. That was pretty much a Jan Blachowicz fight to me.
Yeah, he busted it up too, or something. That was definitely swollen.
Man, I can't believe this. John, you're breaking up so hard. We're gonna wait a second. Again? Yeah, you're breaking up again. No. I can't believe it. So we have it. This is like show number 7, folks. This is video number 700 plus on my channel, and I've never had this happen before. Man, maybe it's the super aids on my computer. Is that politically incorrect? Can I say that?
This China. I've been saying too much stuff about China. Disney's trying to shut me down.
Oliveira Gordon. Oliveira is an explosive dude. His problem is that he can't finish.
He can't beat the top guys.
Yeah, right? He can't beat the top guys. Every time they put him in with a top guy, he ends up losing. Even, who was it, Andre Feely, I think, that choked him out? Mm-hmm. Now, I might be wrong on that, but I feel like it was Feely. Was one of the guys in the last few years, while they were trying to hype him up, couldn't do it. Let's see, anything else? That one was canceled. I liked Wellington Turman's name. I thought that was a hard-nosed fight.
Yeah, he needs to walk out. I don't know where he's from, but Wellington. His nickname should be the Gentleman, and he should always walk out in like a 3-piece suit and a top hat.
I can't disagree with that logic, John. I mean,
that's just money in the bank right there, buddy.
That's as solid as it gets, really. So let's talk a little Kanye West, okay? Now, you seem to be a big Kanye fan. I
No, I am a fan of people who stir shit up.
I don't mind that. Listen, I
People who
like
are just
people.
they won't fall in line. They say whatever the hell they want to.
I get it,
Yeah,
dude, but he's such a train wreck, bro. And I don't think he's that talented. You know, I know he was big in like the late 90s, early 2000s and all the other stuff, but when I was like the rap and the hip hop, at least I was listening to at that time was NWA, which is almost a decade old. And I was listening to a lot of the Wu-Tang solo albums. I was digging that stuff. I was staying away from the Jay-Z and the Rockefeller records and the Jermaine Dupri's and the P. Diddy's and all that
Yep.
stuff. And he seemed to try to be
50
that
Cent.
edgier version. He got that, you know, that first hit, man. What was it? What was the one with the backpack and the bear?
That was for College Dropout.
College Dropout.
That whole album.
Yeah, that whole album was big, super huge.
It was all over the dance club down in West Lafayette.
I watched.
Where else? That was the spot. Where else? In the Neon Cactus.
Dude, I don't know, man. I was, you know, I was such more a metal guy at that point. I was like a metal kid. I was listening to more alt music. But then again, like I said, I guess Wu-Tang Clan and that other stuff, but just not that scene. And
well, I mean, we had our music that we listened to at our wrestler parties, but then if you wanted, with the girls all listened to the rap or whatever was the new thing.
Oh yeah, you couldn't get away from it.
Frat party. Yeah, you couldn't go. So the frat houses always had that, and then you go to the club or you go to the bar. They weren't really clubs; they're just like.
I mean, dude, Funk Flex and the Tunnel and all that stuff was everywhere, and Eminem was coming up in that time. I mean, you couldn't go anywhere without that. That was the big. Yep. I think that was the big push for hip hop. Hip hop became almost the new rock and roll, and the only thing that really survived was those metal niche bands like Korn. And then obviously Limp Bizkit had their heyday in that same time period. None of them.
Well, because they were rapping. They were rapping too. Everything was rap.
It's true. I mean, Rage Against the Machine. You know, it's not like Zach De La Rocha sings. He's much more of a rapper. Yeah. But none of them are as batshit crazy as Kanye, in my opinion. When you even see him, he talks about his mental breakdown in this. First of all, I really don't even love. The LA Times quotes here that the devil stole all the good artists. He's the greatest artist that God has ever created, although that is a pretty ridiculous quote from this.
You got to go big. You got to go big these days, man.
Dude,
nobody's going to listen to you like, yeah. They're just not. This day and age, like everything is maxed out. You know, it's far right, far left. Yeah,
but that's the thing. I think that here's the problem, John. He's pandering to a new political career, and so is his wife. And his wife actually has a lot of power at this point. She parlayed being a friend with a billionaire who made a billionaire heiress's daughter who made a sex tape into making her own sex tape with somebody more famous, and then. Yep. Basically getting that into a reality show with her whole family and product lines.
Well, I mean, her mom, she learned from her mom. Like, there's that picture of the OJ trial where she's like sitting next to 3 guys she's banging at the same time.
Dude, I mean, sociopathic fucking shit. That's my problem. Like, she looks good and it sounds good. And you were talking about her prison reform and helping people. But I believe she was involved in this new case. And there's a lot to be said about the fact that, you know, maybe this guy shouldn't be out.
Yeah, like I haven't really been paying attention, but like things have come across my feed, and even people that I'm friends with have like posted things about freeing this guy. And then I read a Medium post by somebody the other day that detailed the history around this thing, and it was pretty shocking.
Yeah. No, when I read the history,
must not know anything about this guy, or I don't know what's going on.
That's why I don't weigh in unless I really look into something first. I kind of wait, you know. Even with the Prince Andrew interview, you know, I saw people posting about it immediately, and I watched the whole thing yesterday, and then I did my video on it. Before we get into more politics, what are your feelings on Askren retiring from MMA and saying he needs a new hip?
Yeah, man, I get it. He's not even a MMA fighter. It's a hobby. It's something he did to make a little side cash. He's a wrestling coach. Like, this is just like something he did on the side, and he was still one of the best in the world at it. But yeah, man, like, is it worth it anymore? He's made his money. He has his outside money going. He has his wrestling stuff. He has all of his podcasts.
He has to replace his hip. I mean, damn, man.
Like,
I mean,
Coleman, at least he doesn't have to crowdfund for it. Coleman had to crowdfund to get his hip replacement surgery.
Yeah. And I mean, dude, I guess you don't really realize it from the outside looking in. But I remember when I met you and I saw you walking, I'm like, there's a guy that's been banged around quite a bit. You know, you can see it in your walk, dude.
That's how Fitches walk.
Oh, is that just the Fitch walk? It's not
if you watch my dad walk or my brother or my cousins, like you'll be like, oh, I get it.
Really? Because when me and my brother, we were walking out of the arena behind you, and I'm like, God damn, that's from fucking rolling with guys like Khabib and fucking everybody else for the last 20 years.
That's just the strut.
That's the strut. All right, well, my bad, sir. My bad.
That's just the strut. I mean, I am banged up. Don't get me wrong. But yeah, it's not as bad as it might look.
So
I think like Chuck has kind of a mosey too that looks like he's hurt.
Liddell?
Yeah.
That's
just kind of the way he walks. So
that's true, but I do think there's some head trauma with Liddell at this point.
Well, Liddell, you stack all the other problems on top of the.
Dude, you watched that fight with Pele back in the day with Liddell. I mean, before he was even mainstream anywhere near it. And you just think about all the other brutal fights that went on behind closed doors that were similar to that. You know, you talked about it.
Bare knuckle, no time. Yeah, bro.
Well, you talk about the gym class heroes, man. Like the guys that are coming in for that. You were talking about, especially in the early popular days of MMA when you were first getting involved. Tell people about that. Guys coming into the gym.
Guys would come in off the street and be like, "Oh yeah, I've never lost a street fight. You know, I'm part of this biker gang, or I'm a doorman. Like, I handle people all the time." And it'd be like, you know, 29, 30-year-old guys coming in and never had any training, and they want to spar first day. And you're like, no, it's you take a class, sign up, take a week of classes. We'll see how you do. You're like, no, man, I'm ready to go. And like these guys, like they don't have the cardio to go a minute and a half. They you couldn't go 90 seconds. And they think they're going to say, oh, I'm going to go in there and I'm going to beat everybody up. So we had one day, one of the best days ever. Paul Bonatello was there, and this guy comes in, he's a big biker looking dude with long hair. And he's trying to get in store, like, no, you take a class. Javier's trying to help the class. He's like, no, man, I'm ready to go. And he says, I get to my top in there with Paul Bonatello. Paul is known for his monster uppercuts, right? So Paul just like backs up a little bit of time, goes boom, hits him with one uppercut. The guy does like a back roll, like leans on the rope. He's like leaning on the rope. He's like, I think I'm gonna back out there. Crazy pushes him off to go back in there. They'll beat their Paul beats up a little bit more again. I'm just not feeling it today. I'm not feeling it. I was like, Crazy Bob was like, yeah, I don't think you're ever gonna feel it, buddy.
Yeah.
And even face bloodied, ego pride destroyed, and that was a fun day.
I'm glad that you enjoyed it. Guys, I know that John keeps freezing up, but if you want a better version of that story, you can check out John Fitch Knows Nothing, which he does every day, and you can take out today's broadcast where he actually tells that story, and it's not as jumbled. And right now, I know we were looking at a blurred picture that most people wouldn't even know is John Fitch right now. Oh, wait, we got some movement, John. Sort of, kind of, 2 frames.
Oh, man, what is going on?
I don't know, man. I don't know. I feel like the YouTube gods are after me today. Like I'm gonna have to post this afterwards. I'm gonna have to work out the glitches. I did just get another PC as a backup in case something like this went down because I had a funny feeling. But whatever, man. It's just part of the game, I guess. Speaking about going back to the Kanye and Kim thing, you know, Kanye would get a lot of votes, dude. Like, he'd get a lot of votes for anything he ran from a lot of people that never voted for anything in their life. And I'm not sure that that's a good thing.
He'd get the votes for the same reason that Trump did for a lot of people.
I agree.
To fuck you to establishments. People are sick of it. Like, okay, we're going to vote in this crazy asshole in position because U.S. and you fuckers are just blowing people up and fucking I pay $5 a gallon for gas. Like, no, like, I'm tired of it. I'd almost want to rather vote in. If I had a choice between who, like, I couldn't even think of their, another Bush or Clinton or whatever, and Kanye was a choice. Like, yeah, probably.
I mean, I feel like with me and someone like Kanye, for instance, like Trump, he talked a good game. He hasn't walked the walk. He's done some good things, but there's been a lot that he hasn't done. I'm not sure if you heard about the hospital thing, but we'll get into that in a minute. I think like somebody like Kanye, who's not anywhere near as mentally stable as Trump. Say what you want about Trump, but Trump knows how to like get up early, stay up late, get things done.
He's been doing it for a long time. He's been doing it a long time.
Yeah. He's been managing his time like a psychopath. I mean, you got to be that driven and that obsessed to get to that level or stay at that level.
You're only going to get like 4 hours of sleep at night in that position.
Yeah. Guys like him, Schwarzenegger, I mean, that's what they're doing. They're really doing that, guys. And they're rather sociopathic. Even their kids will tell you they weren't, look at Eric and Donald Jr. It's not like Don was in their life very much as kids. He's probably in their life more as adults working within the corporation, and that's kind of like mended those relationships. Or look at Tiffany, who probably saw her dad like a dozen times every 2 years. And sees him even less at this point. I mean, it's just the way it is when you're that driven. Kanye West isn't that guy. Kanye West is a guy that's collapsed mentally and gone into the hospital, that says rash things that I think can be led around. That I think, unfortunately, I think his story ends a lot more tragically than Donald Trump's, in my opinion.
You have to understand too that I think he's got a lot of people around him that are telling him he's crazy and telling him what to do all the time. Because, there's certain things you're not allowed to think in the industry he's in. And if you go against these big, powerful, rich people, like your friends and everybody around you, like that's a hard thing to do. To like go against everybody around you. It's almost like if you were a witness and you left.
Sure, but do you use a super
a
mega
Mormon
church
or something, and you leave the church?
There it is. The church, though. Do you use a grifter church guy? Listen, let me ask you something, John. Do you trust anybody who smiles that fucking much as Joel Osteen? Like, let's be honest. There's got to be a point in your day when smiling is not a thing, unless you are a total and complete grifter. I know. Listen, I got a buddy.
You're hiding something. You're hiding.
What's that?
You're hiding something if you're smiling all the time.
No fucking way. I mean, exactly. Like, you're not fucking. Listen, no one's that happy. I know a guy. He's probably the best guy I've ever met in my life of all my travels. 100%. In fact, I'm going to pull some of his stuff up right now. But he was a preacher out of Missouri. Okay. He had moved here. He was working at the shitty tech company I was working at like 6 years ago. Totally soul-crushing work. He's doing like these managed service provider blogs and all this other stuff. But he believes this Christian stuff, much like Khabib believes his Islam stuff, right? And he actually, he doesn't smile that much, but he helps people. He believes in what he is. He now is given, I think it is got to be over 5,000 rides free to drunk people. Let's see. And they get free pizza and Domino's, and he just opened up a center. I mean, this is a guy that for nothing has driven thousands of people home drunk, giving them water bottles, giving them fucking hats in the cold, you name it. Joel Osteen has his own boat. He's got his own plane. He's got his own mega church. He's got nice suits. Kaylor Carpenter of the Redemption Movement has none of those fucking things. And I guarantee you, if there is some kind of a higher power, I don't know if it's Jesus Christmas or whatever, if there is some kind of a judgment, Joel Osteen is not going to the tippity top, and guys like Kaylor Carpenter are, man. That's how I feel about it. So Kanye West going with a grifter preacher to kind of show this change is just bad news Brown all around?
Yeah. You have the video? I didn't see.
Oh, Kanye? You want some Kanye gold?
Yeah, I didn't see I saw the picture and I didn't recognize the guy, but I didn't know who it was at first. But now you said his name, Olstein.
Yeah, let's see if we can get some, because he was up there for a while. I don't want to play the TMZ one because I'm sure I'll get a copyright
Hey everybody,
strike.
come on, let's welcome Mr. Kanye West today.
They're an unlikely pair.
We can come from different worlds and celebrate each other.
The pastor and the rapper.
I know that God's been calling me for a long time, and the devil's been distracting me for a long time.
The rapper spoke to the thousands at Lakewood Church about his spiritual awakening over the past year, brought about amid a mental health episode. Flanked by wife Kim Kardashian and daughter North, Kanye West says he's a family man now and a changed man. He says he's not afraid to talk about it, even though he's gotten some pushback.
We get constant advertisement for strip clubs and other things like that, but then we bring up the name of Jesus, we're told to be quiet. We're not. Excuse me, brother. I go into these streams of consciousness when I'm talking, and when you're speaking in the middle of it, it distracts me.
At one point during his testimony, a protester heckled the rapper and was asked to leave.
The same thing that people are using to say, well, we don't know if he's sincere, is what God is using to be able to save more.
Let me just stop it. And that's what I mean. If he was really sincere, John, why is he doing it with Osteen?
I think the more people push against him, the more he probably thinks he's right. He's thinking, oh, I've got to do this. Because it's such a simple thing. Why shouldn't he be allowed to talk about Jesus? Why shouldn't he be talk about? Why shouldn't somebody be able to talk about Allah or Muhammad or anybody?
I think I'm in total agreement there. I'm just saying.
So like when people are shaming him, heckling him, and telling him to shut up, like that's only gonna like fuel on the fire. He's not gonna stop. He's not gonna be like, oh, okay, that's not his personality type. He's gonna double down.
No, I agree. Dude, I mean, if you could watch, I mean, they edited that pretty well in CBS. Like when I even watched like 10 minutes of it, it's tough to watch, man. It's tough to watch. Like, it looks like somebody who's having a spaz out attack. I don't know how to describe it, man. I've seen a lot of public speaking. I've done some. I know you've done some. And you know when somebody's like just like kind of like all over the place. And Joel Osteen, man, he keeps that fucking smile the whole time. Anybody else would have looked at him and been like, train wreck.
We've got a crazy guy on the stage.
That stage smile. Oh, John, I mean, we've been marred with technical difficulties. We've barely gone 40 minutes, but like since we're so garbled, I hate to do it, but I had more stuff. I think we're going to wrap it up. You got anything else for the people?
No, well, I have another little angle on this Kanye thing, right? So this also could be him, like, I don't know. He's getting a little older and he's realizing that his wife is still like putting her stuff out there and she's still expressing her hypergamy. So he's trying to hold on to dear life and not lose.
He's already lost, dude. She's got to have 10 fucking times, if not 20 fucking times the money he's got. Period. She's got way better deals on anything she's ever fucking signed. 100% John.
Well, and that's why, like that's what I'm talking about. Hypergamy. Hypergamy is women's natural desire to be with a man who's above their level.
Oh, I get it.
So if she doesn't view him as above her level anymore, maybe he's like finding some rockiness or whatever, and then he's crashing hard into religion because religion's the only thing in recent history that has put a control or a stopper on that hypergamy.
See, I agree that
that's manosphere stuff right there.
No, I agree that there's probably some ego battle there, that his wife is a bigger celebrity than him, right? Because when it started, she wasn't. When the relationship,
not even bigger celebrity. Just the fact that he's going to lose the love of his life because he's no longer good enough for her because she's risen to that level. Like she's looking for someone bigger and better than her.
Honestly, I think that's going to be inevitable, but that's just me.
Well, I mean,
I do. I mean, come on, dude.
The idea is that there's open hypergamy now, and there's no threshold, there's no throttle on it anymore, and that's why a lot of people are pushing back hard for religion, because that's the only thing that throttles at hypergamy.
Yeah, but bro,
limited access. You have unlimited access to every man in the planet. Like, you're always going to find another branch to swing onto.
I'm not disagreeing with you, but I'm saying even pre this generation, her mother, we already kind of talked about it, was so fucking Viper-esque that she was already doing that, and to the point where she pinned out Bruce Jenner. You don't think that when that relationship began, she knew that she was going to wear the pants in it? I don't think that relationship was about some kind of like sexual desire or family. That was somebody that she could use, abuse, and manipulate and fuck 100 other dudes while she was with, in my opinion, after her husband died. And I think that obviously her daughters have kind of learned that. I think that, Kim is the more assertive one. I think she has kind of controlled that relationship from behind the scenes. And what's the other Kardashian? The one that lost all the weight, but then was with like Lamar Odom after his like crack and hooker binge again and again. She went the other way. I mean, people are fucked up. I barely know anything about the family other than, what you're kind of forced to see in the media. Yeah, exactly. Which is bizarre enough in itself. I look at it, man, like, look, he's going to put out an album, right? You were talking about that hypergamy. He's going to put out a fucking gospel album. Who knows? Maybe it does sell 10 million copies to Christians. Maybe it sells. Hey, fucking
Christian, and that's global. Like, you're gonna have Chinese Christians illegally downloading Kanye's album with Bitcoin.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you look at Passion of the Christ, it's still one of the biggest global hits out there. It's a great fucking movie. Don't get me wrong. It is. I give Mel Gibson props, man. His movies are good. But if you look at that against some other movies, you're like, that's the number, like, 1 or 2 movie of all time that's R-rated. I think it got beat by Deadpool, which kind of makes sense at this point. But even before that, so, I mean, maybe he's looking for the money, maybe he's looking for the fame, maybe he's looking for the relationship dominance, but I think in both cases, they're trying to position themselves, how should I say this, politically, to run for office later somewhere. She's already done a lot, right, with the government and petitioning local governors and the president of the United States, and been quite successful. She has the money to move it. That money's not beholden to anybody that I know of yet. As far as I know, she's not a sex trafficker in the fashion industry when there's a fucking ton of them, John. And there has been for 30 plus years. So maybe she does have an in. I don't know. Maybe.
Oh, did you hear the guys in San Diego who just got busted?
I saw that.
They're offering models to come down. We'll get you $5,000, put you up a hotel, whatever, and then they get like doing court porn, and then threaten to like sue and do all this other shit if they don't do it. Yeah. You got to reimburse us for the tickets, the plane, the hotel.
Are you talking also about the? I know there was the one porn company that went under. Girls Do Porn. I think it was that.
I think company. I think the guys who rented it just got sentenced.
Yeah. Well, I thought they jumped the country. The last time I reported on it, the guy jumped the country.
There's something that just happened like this weekend. I was reading about it.
Well, you know what? That might have been a new development because I was definitely all over it. Of course, now you're looking and sounding good. Might as well do a little more of the broadcast.
Well, we got about 6 minutes, and I got to go and take care of the kiddies, get them ready for jiu-jitsu.
Oh, you're doing the jiu-jitsu. Tell people about that. How you do your mixed martial arts with these kids.
Well, like right now, my kids are young, so they're 5 and 7. So I don't do a lot of hands-on instructing with them at all because I don't want them to resent it right now. Like when they come to me and ask to be trained by me, then it's go time. But I have great people I trust and I know I can put them under at AKA. So Ron Kessler is a jiu-jitsu coach. I've been training with Ron over 10 years. He's a great dude, great system, knows what he's doing. So they're in there, and then when I train with them, we just fight, right? It's a play fight. So like the little one especially, like they'll put their gloves on, and I'll get on my knees in the garage, and as long as it's one-on-one, they can punch, and they can try to hit me as hard as they want to, And like I teach them principles about fighting by actually, fighting them at a soft pace. And it's fun for them. They enjoy that. And it's not me yelling at them to like do shrimp drill and stuff.
Yeah, and they are doing. I mean, you got Cormier on them over at AKA, right? There's the whole kids program there.
Well, they went to a couple wrestling practices, but Cormier's wrestling club is like an elite club. They're there to win. Those kids that have been doing it for a long time, so it's a little more intense than my boys were ready for.
Gotcha.
So the jiu-jitsu was a little bit more their speed. My oldest boy, he moved to the older kid part of the class. So it's a little bit more intense, a little bit more serious. So it's cool. They're getting they've gotten their second stripe. So they're getting into it. They're enjoying it. They complain way less about having to go.
Well, that is good news. JohnFitch.net is the website, guys. Follow him at JohnFitch.net on Twitter and go subscribe to his YouTube channel, Official John Fitch. Right now, remember the audio version, thegruelingtruth.com. You can find it there. After this broadcast is posted, usually the next day, I will fix the technical issues. I fucking promise you guys. I apologize. I am embarrassed. I am red-faced with embarrassment about this broadcast, but hopefully I'll get everything worked out, especially for next week. You can subscribe right now to me. I'm on the verge of 40,000. We'd love to hit 40K. That'd be awesome. And then I have a GoFundMe. We just hit over 2,000 out of 5,000 of the goal for the month. So if you can support me, $5, $10, $15 means the world to me. That's how I broadcast 3 to 7 times a day here and give you all of my content for free. It's always a pleasure having John on the program. John, you want to say anything else?
No, man. Just check out the website, sign up for the newsletter, and then, check out the John Fitch Knows Nothing podcast live 9:30 West Coast most weekdays.
All right, you heard it there. Fitch Smash, Burmese Brigade. We'll see you guys later. Thank you very much.